So next up, Matt, do you want to take over the screen and talk to us about iaNFT?
Hi there. Yeah, 1 second. Okay, be coming up now. Okay, is that working?
Yep, perfectly.
Cool. Okay, so thanks for letting me chat today. This is my slides here, and I guess I'll start from this second part. I'm Chana from our Discord community, and I'm working on something called iaNFT, and it's all about interactive artwork, and specifically on how you can make artwork for NFTs that can be kind of co-created with other people permissionlessly. So I've done full stack in web and cadence work for some flow brands, and I've even contributed to some flow features in the playground that some of you might have seen. And so about iaNFT is like a tentative name that I'm using, but what it's about is representing on-chain artwork as data structures. And with that, you get some on-chain compositing, and you get what I hope to do with this is to have us kind of do this kind of cross-pollination of NFT projects without permission. And you can do this kind of this permissionless co-creation of artwork because of this modality of like defining or representing art as data structures on Flow. And that's all thanks to Cadence, of course, and the resource-oriented programming model of Cadence. So if you could imagine like a project, like I just made this up, Lofi Cats, and then another project Dogs, and they have no obvious connection between the two. But because Lofi Cats or Project Dogs defined their NFT and designed their NFT in such a way that would allow anyone to use the composability strengths of Cadence and Flow to kind of co-create this artwork, then you can imagine like a new project coming about called Lofi Dogs, and that just uses like resources from one or more Flow projects to make something totally new, something, a new use case, new project like that. So like I said, this is about representing on-chain artwork as data structures. And there's already a lot of really great patterns, like Luca just talked about, that really let us do all this composability and this kind of on-chain compositing and all this amazing stuff. And with iaNFT, what I'm focused on is kind of like I said, this co-creation. So like, let's say you wanted to let others contribute to your artwork, some project who you don't even know, who might not even exist yet. And one pattern is to encode artwork as an image. As a base64 string, for example. You can still do compositing, but to let others really contribute to that, you have to trust them, because when you're letting somebody put a string on there, it might be anything and poorly formed or some malicious content or something like that. And for off-chain artwork, again, you'd want to really trust who's doing that. You wouldn't want to just open up your NFT to just anyone to put anything on there because or your database or your IPFS pin, because again, it could be anything. Here's an example of a pattern using iaNFT. So we have, like I was saying, we have the on-chain artwork, which is a data structure in which you can think of as an analog to artwork. And we have on-chain compositing. And because we're using a data structure and Cadence, we have guardrails for the creation of the artwork. So you can make sure that the artwork that you're creating is not an unstructured string. It's very structured. It's a data structure, and we can use preconditions to make sure it's formed correctly. So imagine I have a project called Loot Bag, and what it is it's a collection. It's an NFT, but it can house other NFTs, and this artwork can be composed on chain dynamically as other NFTs get checked into it. So let's say there's another project called Monsters, and you own this loot bag, and you go to Monsters and you buy a Monsters NFT. The Monsters project could say, "Great, you bought a Monsters NFT. Do you want to add it to your loot bag?" And when they do that, they could ahead of time. They could have already defined this artwork, and they could have already defined that. And then when you're checking in your NFT here, that artwork can be added without Lootbag ever even really needing to know about it. Like, it's because Lootbag designed this NFT so that other projects could contribute, add layers to this artwork, that Monsters doesn't need to talk to Lootbag. They can just say, "Great, here's the NFT, here's the structure," and I add a layer. And you could do other things too. You could, read the metadata. You could paint. You could calculate the price and have that show up. Display the names and the serial numbers. So that's one example of a pattern using iaNFT in this data structure modality of creating layers and co-creating art. So already there's a number of awesome interactive and collaborative projects on Flow that are really inspiring. We just saw one with Flovatar, and there's painting, and the Fabricant has a UI where you can co-create using these materials, and Goats as layering as well, and the Matrix is going to be a whole new, I think, amazing world of these programmable objects that I'm looking forward to. But again, just thinking in terms of this kind of funky concept that I have of iaNFT, despite a lot of the current patterns, if you wanted to have people contribute to this artwork and add layers permissionlessly, then let's imagine we have another NFT here, this little devil NFT. And if you stake it, you want it to be able to update that art dynamically. And so if you have this pattern of trustless and permissionless collaboration, you can do that because, again, you're working with data structures that are tightly managed and safe. And you can have it so when you stake this text updates, and then you have some simple artwork that comes here. Right now it's limited to very simple artwork, which I've done, but it seems to work. So that's mostly what I wanted to talk about. And I'm going to do a little demo. This is a proof of concept app that I built, and I call it Color Nouns. And some of you have probably heard of the Nouns DAO on the Ethereum blockchain, and their artwork is all open source. It's public domain. So I just use that, and I built this. And what it is I'm taking all of the Nouns artwork, and this NFT you see here, I ran a script before spinning this up, and it minted 40 NFTs and put them in my wallet. And then the 41st, it minted, and it composited this artwork on chain. And this is exactly what you would see on a Noun composited artwork. And these layers, I think there's like 5 layers, but it's been composited on chain using iaNFT. And we have some metadata here, and I'm going to buy this guy, and there we go. So I just bought this one, and when I click see the next color noun, this one, or actually after I just bought it, this next one, number 42, was just composited online and minted, minted and available for sale. And so yeah, and then if I go here, let's see. So here's the one that I just bought, and this artwork that we're looking at here, it's like this data structure that represents this artwork that is shown here. And so if I go here, so you can do some other fun stuff too using this pattern. So like, let's say I want to change this artwork's color. I can actually change it, and if I want it, this is just a very rough proof of concept. So it's like, I don't know what exactly corresponds to what here, but if I like pink and black, they go together, I can do that. And I can process a transaction, and it's going to send those hex values to my NFT. And now I just memorialize that on chain, and the artwork actually just updated on chain on the actual NFT. And I can download this and save it, and I can change colors infinitely and then memorialize that with another transaction on the NFT. So that's one fun thing we can do with it. And then down here, this is kind of just imagine this is a whole new website. This is onflow.org, and I take my NFT, and everybody going to onflow.org gets an NFT. They can buy it, or if it's a giveaway or something, and you can stamp it right on top of your iaNFT. So I can do that here, and I approve that transaction, and there it is. And I just stamped it. And this is now a new layer here, which was just composited on chain. And I could burn that layer. I could reorder them. There's a lot of fun stuff I think we can do with this. And yeah, so that's my proof of concept and iaNFT. I hope we can talk about this in the project's collab channel in Flow, in the Flow Discord. I'm looking for people, anybody who wants to help build the iaNFT pattern and possibly into a Flow standard of some kind in the future. Anybody who wants to work on a real NFT project that will use this, looking for people with various skills. And also anybody who can introduce me to new or existing projects who would be interested in this or just want to talk about interactivity with NFTs. I'm going to kind of write up a more detailed report about this stuff and share it and see if people are interested. So yeah, that's what I have to share. I think I talked for almost 10 minutes, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Matt. That was awesome. Anyone have any questions they want to ask? So one question we have on Slido is, I was not familiar with iaNFT. Does that concept come from ETH or the Ethereum world, or is this like a completely new thing?
No, this is a completely new thing. I mean, the Nouns project, they do on-chain compositing, I believe, and they do some like super compression of the assets to make it work on Ethereum. But on-chain compositing and on-chain data is nothing new to just that. It's all over on different blockchains. So yeah, this is just something. It started off as me trying to build like this kind of layering of these artwork assets, and just playing around and being kind of stupid and just keep going and going. And then I found out like, oh, we can make it so we're using these data structures, and the strength of the data structure allows us to modify this artwork and do this compositing. And I think a lot of new use cases and things we can do with it are going to happen, I hope.
Do you mind also talking a little bit more about these data structures? For example, like, how are they defined, and are they stored in the contract? Like, what's the life cycle of these data structures essentially?
Well, they could be in many places. They're going to be, they're best defined outside of, like, you can have like the metadata standard, for example. This is actually how the pattern that I hope to adopt, which I've actually already started building and used for the proof of concept. But you have some contract like metadata views. You have something that offers these resources. and then you can then use them in an NFT that you mint, and those resources can be like structs, for example, and and you can do really cool things too. Actually, this is one thing I plan to do, which is hosting kind of these on-chain public libraries of artwork assets. Um, and that's all. It's all just cadence. It's just all data structures and cadence.
Power of cadence.
Yeah, it's like I don't really want to work on any other any other any other.
I think there's some connection issues. But I assume you said language or protocol. Cool. So people are asking,
Sorry, do you
how can?
hear me?
Now I can.
All right, sorry. There we go.
Yeah, so maybe you can talk a little bit about how people can get involved. I know you sent a link to the Discord. Do you mind also sharing that link in the office hours chat so people can jump in?
Yeah, let me see. Let me grab this here. This is we can chat about. I'm going to do a post later in Projects Collab about iaNFT, and then this Discord here, I'm posting it in office hours, is where the NFT project using iaNFT, and also some talk about iaNFT, and it'll kind of mix, I guess, at first will happen. But you're welcome to join me there. Nobody's there yet except me, but I'd love to talk to some people.
That's where you're wrong. I think we already have 6 people joining.
Now.
Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
it's full of people now. So
Nice.
8 people, 9 people. Okay,
Well,
10 people. Wow. Okay.
Recently just registered on .find.
Awesome.
that's the
Okay,
way to
cool.
go, man. That's the way to go.
All right. Damn, I wish these office hours were like 2 hours. But if you have any other comments for Matt, then definitely check out the Discord and stay tuned for his post in the Project Collab channel. And unfortunately, we're going to have to move on. But thanks so much for sharing this awesome project, and looking forward to having you back as it develops.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Matt.